Welcome back to Stu Structures. We're here for video 18 in the building of the freight house, so stay tuned. So welcome back. As I said, I am Mark Stewart and this is Stu Structures. We're going to continue on with building the freight house in this segment. I'm going to try to get the plaster work done on the diorama to the point that I can get some of this brick-like stuff mounted down for the paving. We can work some more on the roofs of the freight house itself, and I want to get started on doing all the platforms. They are wood, and the roof extends from the roof of the freight house over top of the platform on the track side of the freight house. So I've got to get that to the point that I can add that section of roof that comes on out and covers that platform. So we're going to jump into this and get started. Let's go. Now I'm just going to throw this drawing out there to show you the layout of this, because if I don't have the building sitting on there, maybe it won't make sense of you that haven't seen the previous video in the series. But you can see here where the hole's cut out, where the freight station sits over. The wall is mounted on the back side, and all this plaster work comes down into the door or the driveway. Now I'm just filling between the wall and the plaster with a little bit of wood glue here. It'll make it easier to add the scenery detail later. And I'm using this brick textured sheet. This is really for crafts and scrapbooking, that type of thing, and it resembles a pigskin. But the texture looks just like a nice cobblestone, and it has a raised texture, so I'm going to use it to lay on here and glue down. So I'm having to cut this into pieces and glue it down individually because of the raise in this end. It doesn't want to lay right, and even cutting it down to this point, it still has a little bit of air under it here and there, but I think it's going to work out okay. And then I put the second piece on, and then come back and add this third piece on, and just keep everything weighted really well until the glue dries underneath everything and it's all set up. This also helps to keep the wood nice and level. And you can see the seams. This one seam just doesn't really match really well, so I'm going to have to come back and doctor this and play with it. And then it's on to painting. I just put a flat gray paint on everything, including the curb on the back side and the top concrete piece on that wall. And then I put a black wash over that to fill all the holes in the in the crevices between the cobblestones. And then I come back with this paint and mix up a warm gray that I want to use for the cobblestones, and I use these makeup sponges to go ahead and dab the paint on. And I just drag a little bit of paint at a time out of it and dab off a little bit of excess so it's not real heavy on the sponge, and then I just come back and lightly dab this on the surface. Now you can tell as I go through this, some areas end up being lighter and darker, which really does mimic the cobblestone really well. You have to be careful and not push down too hard, or you fill the black crevices between the stones as well. And it's just a long process. You can come back and do this in multiple layers, or if you come back and a place looks a little mucky or grayish, not the tone you want, you can add a little bit more paint to it as you go and just get it to the point that you have the whole thing finished. Now you can see here with the finished view of this that those seams are a little bit, they do stand out a little bit, so I'm going to play with those a little as I go on with future things going on in this diorama. But basically that's everything painted and in place, and that's the basic cobblestone area totally finished at this point. Now the one I'm going to come backtrack here, up here at this end of this wall, I'm going to go ahead and put this stone paper on the end of the wall. I'm going to build up this plaster on the end of the wall as well. I wish I had wrapped the stone to begin with. Now I'm going to come back, and all that remaining plaster that's uncovered, I'm just going to put a brown for a dirt color on top of that. And that way the plaster won't show through once I start doing landscaping on top of it. And just give it a base cover in case some of it ever shows through. It'll look more like dirt than anything else. And I just paint down to the curb and up to the wall. You can see I also add some color into the concrete on both those surfaces as well. And here's just kind of a overall picture of the building. Now I still have tons of little areas in the paint that I have to come back and touch up. I did get all the corner trim on the aluminum siding on the second floor on the corners. All that black corner trim is on now. So we're ready to mount it onto the scene at this point, and then we can come back and start working on other details and stuff, and I can get into everything to work on at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and mount this on this base, and then then we got several projects to continue on with when we start our next video, so we're on a roll. So there you have video 18 in the series of building the freight house. We didn't get to work much on the freight house itself other than those couple of trim boards, but we do have it mounted on the scene. We have all the paving done coming down into it and some more of the painting done to the other concrete pieces. So now that the building is mounted, we can start working on the platforms, which will add a lot more realism to the scene. And so I'm looking forward to getting into the next segment and going on with some of that process. So thanks for coming back and sharing this time with me. I do appreciate it. It's the holiday season, and everybody should have some of their trains out playing with them. Whether you're scratch building buildings or not, you should be enjoying the hobby. This colder time of the year, this does seem to be more of the model railroading period of the year. Definitely for me it is. So I'm enjoying my trains and working on several projects all at the same time. So in any case, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button down below, and you'll be notified when I have videos come out. I throw a lot of odd things out there from time to time. Hopefully it's all good information. I had some requests for some other oddities that I had mentioned to people, so I'm going to throw a couple more odd things out there here in the very near future. But in any case, share this out there with other people in the hobby. A lot of people out there want to know how to do some of this stuff, or want to know resources or various stuff. And this information's all good. It's all about sharing of information. I hope somebody's learning something from all this out there. If nothing else, how not to make some of the mistakes that I make when I'm doing some of this stuff. But in any case, do share it with people out there. I'm sure they would appreciate having a resource to learn how to do some of this stuff. And jump out there over the holidays and the winter time when you're not doing a whole lot of other things, and scratch build some buildings. Find some resources and materials to work with, and build something, even if it's something simple for your model railroad. Every little detail that you add to your model railroad makes it look so much more realistic. And you'll feel better about running your trains around it with all the stuff that makes it look more lifelike. So in any case, enjoy your trains and happy model railroading.